You've tuned in to the Top 10 Garden Show with garden expert Ken Lain. Join the conversation daily as he answers timely garden questions. Email Ken a question directly from your phone to his desktop through the web at watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com. Or visit face-to-face throughout the week where he can be found at Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Now welcome your host, Ken Lain.
I had mentioned at the start of the show the brightest blooming summer plants. As the monsoons hit, we start to get quite a few customers coming in going, Ken, my driveway is eroding. The back hill starting to slide away. Those rocks have got grooves going through them. What do I do? I can have a plant that goes in there that holds or makes that soil more stable. And so, yeah, there is a trick that makes that all go. And it's pretty easy because you get a nice, fast growing, low but spreading plant. It quickly covers a lot of ground. And so probably the most popular varieties are Cotoneaster or Cotoneaster. Some Midwest kind of calls them Cotoneaster, but Cotoneaster, same plant. There's some varieties that are huge, not that one. And there's some other varieties that are just like it. There's a big family of plants. There's some big boys or giants, and there's some low-growing cute things. It gets maybe ankle high, but they spread out 6 feet. They get big, but they go sideways. And so look at Coral Beauty, Icolts, Cranberry, Cotoneaster. These are different varieties. They're all available now. And the reason they're naming some of the berries is they've got a white flower in spring. All Cotoneasters bloom in the spring with this white flower. And then they'll put on a red berry. And then they've got this nice, thick, leathery foliage, which makes them very drought hardy. So you can put them in between rock piles and they'll like creep in between the boulders and they'll take that radiant heat and they just thrive and they grow quickly. And once they get rooted, that soil is never going to move again, not in your lifetime. So even if they've been dead for 10 years, those roots are still there holding that soil down. And so a companion plant with that, I'd say maybe there's a couple of them, but Cotoneaster, and then Creeping Rosemary. Surprising, more folks don't think of Creeping Rosemary. There's a low growing variety. It's called Huntington Carpet that kind of creeps. It only gets ankle high, but it spreads out probably about 3 or 4 feet, one plant, 3 or 4 feet, and just tough as nails. Evergreen again. And animals don't eat these things. And so they're good choices. The original was juniper. I know they get a bad rap. But junipers, they grow wild here. And so you've got a good plant. There's some really hardy varieties. And here's the inside scoop of junipers. We're breeding our plants. These aren't random things that are started by seed. We've got a bunch of misfits out there. That's what the contractors are buying. They just go down and dirty, cheap stuff over there. We're actually taking cuttings and taking an exact copy of the perfect plant. And all the junipers are going to be females because females do not have the pollen, so they don't cause the allergies. So a good garden center knows what they're doing. You can give them a break. Junipers are a great plant for here, and they're really hardy, and you can get a variety that doesn't cause you allergies. And these low growing, buffalo junipers, Calgary carpet, they just say they're going to be blue and carpeting over. They're just so robust, so hardy. Animals don't eat them. They take the drought. They take the extreme winters. They just take it. And they grow like crazy. And they hold that ground solid. And so companion plants, a really good look is combining Cotoneaster with ground covered junipers or creeping or carpet junipers. Oh, it looks really good. And they're very tough. One that's not thought of very often, but I think we should. Vines. And so vines we think of, I want it to creep up. I got to give it a trellis. Have it climb something. Not necessarily. They don't have anything to climb. They'll spread. And so the prettiest one, I was over at Yavapai College and they used trumpet vine of all things. They like trumpet vine because it's drought hardy, checks a lot of the boxes, but it's a great plant for here. It's got a great big red flower, hummingbirds love, and generally it will climb up 15, 20 feet. But if you don't let it climb, it makes a fantastic, a beautiful ground cover. You folks that they dug into the back of the hill to get your back patio's back there now, and you've got this big rock face. Plant a trumpet vine. It'll actually grow up that face and cover it and look quite pretty. You'll have hummingbirds coming in to visit you in your private sanctuary. It's a great one. Of course, the number one selling of all the ground covers has got to be honeysuckle. Honeysuckle is, and it's Hall's honeysuckle specifically. That's the old-fashioned one, just because everyone knows it. I probably have 6 different varieties of honeysuckle here. The Hall's is fragrant. It's kind of a muted yellow color, but there's reds, there's lemonades, there's pinks, there's all kinds of colors. You can have fun with honeysuckle, and they're all equally as tough. They got a real aggressive root structure that holds the soil, but then the top growth kind of shades the roots, so it makes it very efficient on its water use. And so they tend to protect themselves. And so honeysuckle does really, really well, either as a climbing up a fence or as a ground cover. I think it's used more as a ground cover, holding erosion, that kind of stuff, softening up hillsides, than it is even up fences and that kind of stuff. But honeysuckle, look at that one. That should be top of your list. It's a good choice. And if you need help, take a picture, take a quick measurement, and we design more gardens or landscapes here in the aisles of the garden center. We can tell you how many plants you need, what the spacing. We'll space it right out there and help you. So we can help you. Just take a picture, bring it in. Okay, we'll be back with more after this.
Water's Garden companion plants for July are hibiscus, maple, crepe myrtle, and purple verbena.
Purple verbena is mountain famous for gorgeous summer-long flowers held over compact green foliage.
This purple bloomer loves bright gardens, summer heat, and grows best in poor soils with less water.
Go ahead and abuse this bloomer. You can't kill it.
The perfect native perennial for easy summer long flowers.
You'll only find the toughest verbena here at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
The Top 10 Gardener, your source for timely garden advice seasonally correct for the garden. Guaranteed to make a difference in your yard this season.